Reverse grid race at Oulton Park. Rain is in the air and excitement is in the air as well. Let's go straight to commentators Tim Harvey and David Addison.
Not only is the rain in the air, the spots of rain are starting to fall, and we've been hearing from the grid just in those last few moments people using certain expletives, Tim. They're not impressed that that rain is coming and throwing their plans into the air.
Well, it's shades of Donington at the first race, isn't it? We'll see on this formation lap just how damp the track is, if at all. Remember, at the end of the formation lap at Donington at the start of the year, we had the brave gamblers coming in the pits. That was Adam Morgan, our pole sitter for this one. I don't suppose he'll be doing it this time. He was at the back then. And Tom Chilton, who went on to win the race. And of course, Nick Hamilton. So we'll see what the condition. It doesn't look that bad at the moment. It doesn't look too bad, but it could be a lot wetter further around the track.
Well, let's try to find out. Let's check in with Tom Chilton then, winner in the wet at Donington. The rain is starting, Tom. What's it like?
It is indeed, yeah. Oh my gosh, it's like deja vu. Sadly, at the moment, it's just a very, very light sprinkle and evaporating as soon as it touches the tarmac. So, as it stands, we're on the hard tyre, which is the worst tyre if it does drizzle. But that's about 90% of the grid. But if it rains any harder, I will be the first in the pit lane, I promise.
It's going to be tough, this, isn't it? Not only in terms of the race on that tyre, but trying to second guess what the weather will do.
I'm going to be keeping my eyes open at the moment to see if I see any marks on the tarmac, like I did at Donington, but at the moment it's dry enough, but we will see, we will see. Enjoy the race.
Good luck, Tom. So Tom Chilton keeping a weather eye on proceedings. We understand Andrew Watson has gone on to wets. I think also Nick Hamilton has tried wets as well. It could be an inspired choice from both. It could be the wrong choice. We will find out. There on wets is Nick Hamilton, so he's going to start from the pit lane of wets. And is Andrew Watson in the pit lane, or was that on the grid? Let's try and just get to the bottom of that. So Nick Hamilton is about to make his way down to the end of the pit lane. Well, we've been saying all day that if you've saved your soft tyre for this last race, it is going to be a good thing. It might work for the first few laps, but then if it gets really wet, it's all bets off.
Yeah, well, let's just take it as the weather conditions are now. That's always the best thing to do, and it's dry at the moment, and we absolutely know the soft tyre is the fastest tyre. Just the 4 cars on the soft tyre. Aidan Moffat, the highest placed of those in 15.
So it is Adam Morgan who starts on pole position. Dan Camish with him at the front of the grid. Then it's Colin Turkington and Tom Ingram. Ash Sutton is 5th and Josh Cook 6th, ahead of Jake Hill. Double winner today, then Dan Lloyd, and then the Toyotas are Ricky Collard and Rory Butcher. There's Tom Chilton next on the grid. Andrew Watson with him, and then Mikey Doble and Dexter Patterson come next, ahead of Aidan Moffat and Ronan Pearson. Jack Butel and Stephen Jelly round out the top 18, with 19th Aaron Taylor-Smith and George Gamble starting 20th. Then there's Dan Rowbottom on the soft, Nick Hamilton on wets, but from the pits. Sam Osborne and Nick Halstead are on the next row. Will Powell, who had a steering breakage in that last race, hence he was in the gravel. He's on the 25th rank of the grid. Bobby Thompson alongside him, and Jade Edwards is at the back. Now, in terms of the hybrid allocation, it is as per the race result, race 2, but then, of course, you shuffle that around for the reverse grid. So 7 laps for Adam Morgan, 6 for Dan Camish, 5 for Josh Cook, who's got a 3-place grid drop, 4 for Colin Turkington, 3 for Tom Ingram, 2 Ash Sutton, 1 for Jake Hill. Into the pits has just come Dan Lloyd. Now, that could be for tyres, it could be for engine problems that were on the grid, so we need to keep an eye to that as the grid is starting to form. It was gloriously sunny about 2 hours ago. It is grey and ominous, and the clouds are looking ever more leaden as we get set for the 3rd race of the day. That is Dan Lloyd, and that looks more engine than tyres, does it not? It is still dry about 9 miles away in Acton Bridge, but it's looking as though it might get wet at Oulton Park. But either way, Tim, we're in for a good race.
We certainly are. Turkington had his wipers on just to clear that screen, get a good view of the lights. They'll be on soon. We'll get the green flag at the back first, then the 5-second board. Adam Morgan also doing the same.
Time to go racing then for the final time today at Oulton Park as the lights go out. Good start made by Morgan, good start made by Turkington then as they make the run towards Old Hall Corner for the first time. Getting squeezed up against the barrier was Ash Sutton. That would have done the Ford some damage, I fear, as he turns there, look, with smoke, and he gets a tap in the back from Josh Cook, and all of a sudden Sutton's got big damage, look. Championship leader in massive strides. Something has broken when he glanced the pit wall. Sutton is out.
No points for Sutton at the moment in this. He touched the wall, he got a little squeeze, grazed the wall, either broke the wheel or something, but he's pulled the car over. 0 points in this race. Ingram will be very pleased about that.
First question, though, is where Sutton has parked it, whether we need a safety car to move that as the field accelerates out of the Ireland Ben hairpin. It was Josh Cook that got in the back of him through Old Hall when suddenly that front right corner did break, but I think Ash Sutton has parked it on the run. Yes, with a safety car coming out on the run down towards Denton, so we go safety car. We haven't seen much of the safety cars since Donington. We've seen a lot of it today, perhaps as feared at Oulton Park Race. So drivers race until they get towards the boards. There, look, you've got Mikey Doble, George Gamble and Stephen Jelly all getting themselves together. Climb the hill, but we will be under safety car conditions whilst Ash Sutton's forward focus is retrieved. And look, Jake Hill is already running third.
Yeah, there's a little bit of bunching going on as they sort of slow up at the end of that lap. Positions might need to be just checked to make sure they're all in the right place. They're still racing here, the guys at the front. I can't believe they don't know. They're still racing hard at the end of the lap.
I haven't seen a board. There are no boards, no flags. So we've gone safety car according to the message line on the screen. Oh, now there is a flag at Deer Leap, just where the camera was.
Look.
There's absolute pandemonium. The safety car is on track, but the boards were incredibly late. There was nothing at Lodge Corner.
There were no boards out. I think the radio messages came at the safety car, but the boards weren't out at the marshal's post, so some drivers were racing, others weren't, and they literally came through Lodge up to Deer Leap before the flag. We saw the first flag.
But that said, there is the in-car marshalling system now, isn't there? So the lights come on inside the car, so he should have had it in the car unless there was some breakdown in communication somewhere along the line. Either way, we now have a safety car. This is the start. Look to the left of your screen. Watch Ash Sutton from the third row.
Coming over at him is Ingram, and bang, there's the touch with the wall. And he comes into the corner, realises he's got a problem with the right-hand front and slows up. Josh Cook gets inadvertently into the back of him, but there's a suspension breakage as well as the wheel.
Yeah. So this is Sutton's view.
This will give us a much better view of how close Ingram was to being in front. Well, there wasn't a gap. There wasn't a gap there. It was the tiniest of brushes into the wall, but I don't think the gap was there. Oh, it's broken the drive shaft as well. Look, all the drive's gone. You heard the engine revving. What?
Tom Chilton's view.
This is on board with Tom Chilton, further back on the grid, but on the same side as Ash Sutton. Ahead you see the little touch there with the greys. Of course, the wall doesn't move, and now they're going to bunch up into the corner. You can see the broken front suspension, and Chilton gets a little bit of a run, but he's blocked by Butcher in front.
So all of this is going to make the championship very interesting heading into the summer break, and Ash Sutton does something he doesn't do very often, trudge back to the pit lane.
And that's exactly where the Napa Racing hospitality is. I don't suppose he'll be stopping in for a chat. Look, he's walking right past it there.
The fact that he's kept his crash helmet on tells you a story. He's not stopping to talk to anybody, is he?
He'll be really cross. He'll think that Ingram pushed him into the wall. It did look to me like he was behind and the gap really wasn't there. Ingram was ahead, but it's one of those things. Of course, Ash Sutton was the victim of that start line incident at the beginning of the year at Donington as well. So that's 2 start line incidents that he's been involved in.
Now the rain is starting about 9 miles away. It's heading this way, we understand. Replay again from on board with Ash Sutton. Have a look, Ingram moves across, there's no contact. Sutton tries to keep alongside him, runs out of room. As you say, the wall doesn't move, and he's going to cop the damage. Yeah,
there's only one thing going to break there. Oh, as he went over the curb, you could hear the suspension and the drive shaft break. And that's an absolute disaster for Ash Sutton. No points in this one.
Now, Dan Lloyd did come into the pit lane to check the engine, but he's also gone on to wets, looking at the timing screen, which tells us the tyre choice. Nick Hamilton is on wets. We told you that. We were wrong about Andrew Watson. That was Duff Jen. So it is just Hamilton, but Lloyd also now on the wet tyre.
And still on the lead lap as well, so that's crucially important. On the back of the Crocodile, right at the back of the field, but not behind half a lap or a lap. So if it was to rain now, that would be a good opportunity, but I don't see it coming. There you go, broken suspension, and obviously the drive shaft will have popped out at the same time.
Well, it is coming from the Warrington direction, and it is starting to rain, as I say, about 9 miles away in Acton Bridge. That's Ash Sutton's day done. Interesting,
though, there's barely any damage to that wheel or the bodywork around it. And I'm sure that it sort of broke completely when he went across the curb on the inside. It just sort of popped it out, didn't it? We heard the onboard, but it was already smoking on the way into the corner.
But equally, we know that people have been cutting the inside of that curb at Old Hall all day, so the trench on the inside is deeper now than it was for race 1. So if he did turn onto that, you know, it's going to drop more than it did 4 hours, 5 hours ago.
Absolutely, and it pulls the inside of the tyre out. But I think that the initial cause was certainly the contact with the wall.
There is the earth on the inside of the curbing at Oulton Park, and it wasn't quite such a pronounced drop at the start of the day. We're still behind the safety car then, as there Ash Sutton's car has to be taken all the way down the hill, and this is going to be a relatively lengthy safety car period therefore, because all of that happened on the first lap.
Yeah, it does give the BMWs a little bit more chance though to get heat into their tyres, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So Morgan and Turkington and Hill, top 3 cars, all BMWs, could get a bit more heat into those tyres.
Doesn't help those on the softs much, because they haven't really been able to get the usage. Aidan Moffat, though, is up into 10th.
Yeah, well, their advantage would have been at the start of the race, and obviously they wanted as many laps as they could to make progress forwards.
They will get more laps, in as much as 3 will be added on at the end as a maximum. So there's that consolation. But as you say, the BMWs and the hard-tired cars are now having their race change in a different way. So we can't be too far away from getting things back underway, one hopes. Here, race order, we haven't really touched on this. Adam Morgan leading, Colin Turkington leading Jake Hill. Safety car is in this lap. The last time WSR BMWs won every race in the day was back at Croft in 2015, when Andy Prio, Sam Tordoff and Rob Collard took the wins. The most recent all BMW day was here in 2019. 2 WSR wins and 1 for Team Parker Racing when Stephen Jelly was in the Parker 1 series. So those are your BMW stats, and Adam Morgan is heading for his 40th podium if he can hang on in the top 3. We're going to go racing this time.
And we're not there yet, but this could be the first meeting of the year where we don't have a Napa Racing Ford win a race.
Absolutely, yes.
Now, interestingly, having eked out a few more points, because Ash Sutton was 14 points ahead coming into this meeting. After race 2, he was 19 points ahead. But this is the opportunity Ingram was so looking for to actually claw those points back.
We are going to go racing. Tom Ingram then is currently in 4th place, and he'll be on his toes when we are back to green, which is imminent. Colin Turkington, you notice, has got the wine put on. The safety car is in. Adam Morgan then leads them with lots of bunching again behind him out of dear lead now. Green flag is ready. We are back racing at Oulton Park then. So over the line, BMW 1, 2 and 3. Ingram is the first man to offer a challenge, and it's against Jake Hill as they dive into Old Hall corner. Keep an eye on Moffat there, going through in the grey and yellow Honda, and the next of the soft shod cars is that of Dan Rowbottom.
Yeah, so Aidan Moffat is in a great position. The pack has been closed up just a little bit in front of him. He's made some progress. He's he's 5 places further up than he was, and this is a great opportunity if Aidan Moffat can keep his head and pick them off.
I asked Josh Cook what happened if Aidan arrived in his mirrors. He said, I will signal, I will move out of the way, I will wave him by, because for the team, it's important that you play the game, but lots of drivers have been saying, I want it to rain, because then I don't have to use the hard tyre. Only those 4 that are on the soft have been praying for it to stay dry all day. Morgan, the leader, and there, straight on goes Rory Butcher down at his lot, so he's going to have to join back into the pack. and the spots of rain on the camera lens are becoming a little bit more apparent, aren't they? That's down at Knickerbrook. We're up to 18 laps for this race, and this is lap 5.
Yeah, I don't think that was as a result of the few drops of rain. I think that was just a misjudgment on Rory's part in terms of his braking and not having the same grip. Here's Moffat. Can he tee up a move? Look at this corner speed.
Yeah.
So much greater than Chilton and Butcher in front.
And Rowbottom is on a charge further back as Chilton has to give way, or does he? No, Tom Chilton stands his ground on the inside line then for 9th place. Moffat tries to switch sides, coming out of Dearleaf. He wants the inside line for Old Hall corner. Morgan leading the way. Turkington is under attack from Jake Hill, isn't he? So Turkington is trying to attack in defenders up the inside of Chilton. Goes Moffat, through he goes.
Yeah, of course, all the drivers know who's on the soft tyre, so they will probably, exactly like Josh Cook said, they will pick who to pick a fight with. And it wasn't worth it for Chilton to defend into the old hole there.
Rowbottom is up to 17th, Moffat is up to 9th. They are the best two on the soft, but Turkington wants the lead away from Morgan, doesn't he? He must feel he can be quicker, but at the moment he's stuck behind his teammates. And look at that queue of cars, including Moffat then, who is, Cook there in 6th, but Moffat in 9th. They're all in that battle pack.
Well, in fact, Morgan's doing a great job for those on the soft tyres by sort of keeping the pack really close together, nice and tightly bunched and not scampering down the road, because when they're tightly bunched like that, and look, there's Moffat, he's right on the back of them already.
Taylor Smith on Dexter Patterson down towards Island Bend, closing, bang. And look, round the outside, is that Rowbottom? Trying to gain places on the softs, he's up the curve, he's up the grass. Taylor Smith fends him off as they come over Hilltop. But for how much longer?
Don't think he even got through, did he? The long road round the outside wasn't the quicker one. Turkington round the outside. Will he go all the way round the outside? He's trying.
Dick Bennett's will be having kittens about this, the team owner, but Turkington has done it, he's got the lead, but Morgan needs to stay where he is on the inside line and try to break late and get the lead back, which he will try to do. Turkington locks up, he's on the outside line. Jake Hill waits for it to end in tears, so does Ingram in 4th place. Hill tries to commit to the inside, down towards Cascades. Now the road comes to Turkington, so does the race lead, and Hill, great opportunistic move, follows him through.
Yeah, well, that was really strong and brave driving by Turkington all the way around the outside. Respect given by Morgan, and as you say, Hill was the opportunist, followed Turkington through.
Right, Moffat is 8th now. He's almost with this leading gaggle. There he is, the second of the One Motorsport with Starline Racing Hondas. Not that one, that's Cook. That one, it is Moffat. So Josh Cook is very soon going to see his teammate behind him. That should be an easy pass. But Turkington and Hill then now for the race lead.
Fastest lap though, Jade Edwards down in 24th. She's one of the 4 on those soft tyres, but she hasn't been able to progress, but she has got the fastest lap. Yeah,
I mean, Rowbottom on soft has got a bit stuck as well, which is what I was suggesting in race 2, that with all of these cars on the hard tyre around, where do you make the move? There isn't the disparity between them. There, going through is Dan Camish. This is Aaron Taylor Smith in replay. And Dan Rowbottom was behind Taylor Smith, and there he is. He gets past 1, and he gets past 2, does he? Yeah, elbows out. Hold my pint, I'm coming through, says Dan Rowbottom.
Hold my pint, he doesn't drink, does he? Yeah, that was actually a very similar one to the one we saw before on board, but this time he managed to make it work.
Right, so up over the timing line, where is Moffat? 8th, Rowbottom is now 14th. Still trying to make progress then, and all of this, of course, they want to do before the rain finally deluges on Oulton Park. Race order: Turkington, Hill, Morgan, Ingram, Camish, Cook, Collard, Moffat 8th, Butcher 9th, Gamble 10th. So the 3 Toyotas are up there. 2 of the 3 One Motorsport with Starline Racing Hondas are up there, and 3 out of 4 of the WSR BMWs are there.
Yeah, just looking at the wet shot cars, Dan Lloyd and Nick Hamilton, obviously they're at the back, 25th and 26th with Sutton out, but the lap times they're doing, Lloyd did a 1:33, the leader did a 1:27, so 6 seconds slower on wet. That's not that much. Oh, that was nearly a repeat of what happened last year. I didn't like the look of that one.
And that was Aaron Taylor Smith trying to defend from Bobby Thompson as they came over Hilltop. Rowbottom has got past the pair of them. You're looking back then now at Bobby Thompson's car from Aaron Taylor Smith's car store, Powermax Racing, Vauxhall Astra, speed building, and then he uses the hybrid going up Clay Hill. But as you've seen, Rowbottom has cleared another 2, and he's pushing forward as best he can, but Turkington is trying to build that lead all the while as well.
Yeah, great onboard footage here for the back of Aaron Taylor Smith. You saw the wide line in, trying to take advantage, and that's Moffat taking another place. He's got past Collard. That was a crucial move to make.
Right, and then the next one to get past is going to be Josh Cook. So Moffat is the one with the indicator that was on briefly coming out of Deer Leap. So as he comes down now into Old Hall Corner, next target is indeed his teammate Josh Cook. Rowbottom is 13th. And as the other cars on softs are going through, Sam Osborne is 16th and Jade Edwards is up to 21st. So now she is making a bit of progress now that we're into what you might call a proper race run, unaffected by that safety car. Yeah, just a little bit of space now between them. Fastest on this lap, though, fastest lap was Jake Hill. He's now got the fastest lap, so he's gone quicker than the soft shod cars, albeit they're stuck in traffic. Yeah, interesting, isn't it? Aidan Moffat now has a little bit of clear space before he catches up to Josh Cook. We'll see what sector times can be offered up. There's a lock-up from Turkington there, coming down towards his lots. A big lock-up as well. Don't forget, Colin started the day last on the grid for race 1. Here, at the end of the day, he's leading the final race. We see this so often across the course of a day. You can rebuild your weekend, but look at that for a huge lock-up into his lots. That was a big lock-up. He only just came off the brakes in time to get the car rotated and stopped, but that will have put a big flat spot on it, and Colin does not like these hard tyres, and he's going to be wary about his braking now every time, and that means Jake Hill has seen that. He's sensed it. He knows that Colin will be weak on the brakes now through a fear of locking up again, and he'll pounce for sure. Here comes Rowbottom. Indeed he does. Sorry, that's Sam Osborne, isn't it? Actually, yes, who is another of the softies, and he was 16th at the start of the lap. We are potentially looking at Jake Hill doing 3 in a day here. It's not out of the realms of possibility. It really isn't. It really isn't. It depends it depends on Moffat making a bit more progress, Rowbottom making a bit more progress, but the laps are ticking away, and out of these two, I think at the front, I think I probably fancy Jake Hill to do it. Yeah, so if he can hit the front before Moffat gets up with him, for example, then it is a real possibility. Here they come. Turkington leads the way. It is Hill in second spot then. It is Morgan in third. Now there is Moffat. He's cleared Cook easily, of course. His teammate has helped him through. So Moffat then now sets off in pursuit of Dan Camish. Yeah, and he was a good bit behind Cook, so he's closed, and Cook has obviously let him through, so another little gap for him to catch up now behind Camish. There's about 3 seconds between them, but that gap is closing fast. Hill, interestingly, hasn't been able to take advantage of that little weakness of Turkington's locking up and closed or put pressure on him. Nick Hamilton has come in the pits. Those wets haven't worked out for him. No, indeed. So the last time anybody did 3 in a day, Jason Plato back in 2009, the only other man, Dan Eaves, in 2005. We've been saying it's virtually impossible in the current iteration of the British Touring Car Championship. Jake Hill might make liars out of all of us here. He was 4/10 of a second back from Turkington last time. He's lost 1,000th of a second only on that last lap. So it is still game on between them. It is Morgan third, Ingram is fourth, Camish fifth, Moffat sixth. Moffat's last lap was a 27.6, but Hill, his last lap I should say was a 27.7. Hill was a 27.8. So actually the fastest 2 last time around, Ingram and Camish within that leading group. They were, but remember Moffat was also making a pass on Cook, and I don't know if he lost a bit of time with that move. This will be a good indicator this lap, because Moffat's had nobody in front of him. He's absolutely clear, so he is catching Camish for sure, but this will give us a good indicator of clear lap times. Personal best in that first sector, and Moffat there took nearly 2/10 out of Camish. There are the race leaders there. It's still Turkington ahead of Hill. Next pair, Morgan ahead of Ingram. Camish with the charging Moffat almost up with him, but we've only got 8 laps to go. Moffat's running out of time. He is, and he needs a considerable pace difference between them on this lap as well to show us what he's got. Rowbottom is up into 11th, Osborne 14th, Jade Edwards 19th. On the other soft shod car leaderboard, if you like. There, out of Druids, goes the fight for third. Morgan ahead of Ingram. Now Tom might just try and back the points here, knowing that Sutton is out of the race, but he might still push. We will see as in replay. Rowbottom comes up to have a go at the traffic. He's cleared Chilton, as you see, 11th. And now the inside of Gamble, that puts Robo 10th. Yeah, great move. I love Dan Rowbottom's overtaking moves. He pulls some great moves, doesn't he? Actually, yeah. That's a similar sort of move to the one he pulled at the complex, middle of the complex, Thruxton. He just loves to surprise people and dive up the inside at a point you wouldn't necessarily think it was coming, but using his soft tyres to great advantage there. as he's become known in one of the regular weekly motoring magazines as the amiable bearded Midlander, but that sort of underplays him because he can be pretty ruthless behind the wheel of the car, and as you say, he does some great overtakes, and there's one. Jade Edwards round the outside of Mikey Doble, but runs out of road and gets sideways, hangs on to it, well held. So Jade Edwards trying to push forward on that faster tyre, but not being given a lot of room on the outside line there.
No, that wasn't going to work, was it? Once you've got that tyre off, and of course the grass is a little bit damper now. It's had a few spots of rain on it.
Dan Lloyd, by the way, has stayed on the wet tyre, praying that this rain finally comes, but it ain't happening for him, as there he is over the timing line. His last lap was a 1:33.9. Turkington's last lap, the leader, a 1:27.6. So dice rolled, didn't work, and that's Aaron Taylor-Smith that's gone straight on, and his Lobson now rejoins.
Yeah, and I talked about the lap time comparison last lap. Well, Moffat was quicker than the leader. Moffat said his fastest lap on that lap, but it was only 0.3 of a second.
That was Taylor-Smith and Patterson getting involved. That's why he was up the escape road.
Yeah, but Moffat was only 0.3 of a second quicker, so he is not going to gobble these guys up, is he?
No. That last lap for Moffat then was a 27.9. In fact, it was slower than Turkington. What about Rowbottom? He's up into 9th place now. So Aidan Moffat running in the top 6, but progress is harder to achieve now, but it's still a dry road for the moment, and we've got 6 laps to go.
And the reason for that perhaps is that we've got the very fast and the best guys on that hard tyre, so they're always going to be the quickest ones in the field, and they're making good use of it. That gap hasn't closed down. Turkington has got this one under control.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, there may be an element of Jake Hill thinking, I'm getting really good points here. He knows Ash Sutton is out, but it's not really in Jake Hill's nature to settle for second if the car is quicker. If the car was quicker, and he would be really challenging. But I think Turkington's got the pace advantage this time. Ingram again is happy with his position because he's outscoring Sutton. So I think that's the situation we're in there.
But 2 wins and a second for Jake Hill is a fantastic day, isn't it? And he's not done yet because he might just feel he can have another go at Turkington, just threaten him before the very end. Dan Rowbottom is also charging on in the second of the soft shod cars. He is still capable of gaining ground before the very end. Moffat is edging closer to Camish. Sam Osborne is having a good run up into 14th place then. This is Tom Chilton's view. George Gamble is ahead of him.
Well, it's going to close up the points, interestingly, isn't it? Because Jake was 44 points behind after race 2, but he's going to get second place points and fastest lap point at the moment. He won't miss out. He'll miss out on the point for leading.
Right, that's Ronan Pearson, number 14 in the Hyundai. Getting involved with Mikey Doble as the car's just rubbed coming out of Old Hall. Jade Edwards tucked up behind 19th. It'd be great if you could get in the points, but that's looking unlikely now because the gap is quite a large one, even if she can clear these 2.
Yeah, there's a big gap in front. Is that me, or is that gap coming down again at the front?
I think it's coming down because in the first sector they were absolutely tied to the 1,000th, but we'll see what it is in the middle sector. But certainly to the eye, Hill looking a little bit nearer, and that's what I was saying a lap ago. He might feel it's worth having another push, just seeing what happens if he does apply pressure to Turkington. If an opportunity presents, then fine. If not, we'll settle for second place. End of sector 2 as they head up towards Druids, turn into the corner, and Turkington with 1 lap of hybrid left. Jake Hill has 0 laps of hybrid left. And they get to the end of the sector with the gap coming down just ever so slightly between those 2. Moffat not yet really close enough to attack Camish in the background.
Yeah, well, they started this race with Turkington having 4 laps of hybrid to Jake Hill's 1, and now we're in a situation, as you say, where Hill has none and Turkington has 1. He's probably saving that for the very last lap.
And further back in the queue, Jade Edwards has another go to try to get past Mikey Doble coming through Lodge Corner. Again, you can't fault Jade's determination. I mean, she's a proper feisty racer, no question about it. We've known that for season after season after season, and she has got herself up into 18th place this time. Mikey Doble is the next target, so as Aaron Taylor-Smith has come into the pit lane with quite a bit of frontal damage, Jade Edwards is still battling, and in replay here, up the inside of Ricky Collard goes Rowbottom. Now that gave him 8th, but he wasn't 8th at the end of the lap.
Ah, okay.
So he gained the place and lost the place.
And lost it further on, but yeah, good on Jade Edwards. Yeah, good. She made a pass on Ronan Pearson that last lap, which we didn't see, but she was already up 1 place, and Mikey Doble her next target.
And we are now with less than 4 laps to go. The margin between the top two was half a second last time, and actually in the last sector the gap stretched out a little bit because Colin managed to extend away. This in replay is Sam Osborne, well, way up onto 2 wheels. The Sam Osborne Precision Driving School is open for business, and Jake Hill is still chasing after Colin Turkington. But the softs, possibly because of the safety car, haven't really delivered what we might have anticipated. They've not stormed through the pack.
No, they haven't. But as I said, you know, with all the cars, other cars running on hard, you've got some very good cars, very fast cars running on hard.
Does the drop in temperature have anything to play in that or not?
Not particularly. I mean, the ambient temperature's down, but the track temperature's still up.
Yeah. So, over the timing line, Rowbottom has got back ahead of Collard and cleared him this time, so he's gone through, and the cars funnel their way out of Old Hall Corner. Who else has been an improver on that lap? Nobody else. That's Aaron Taylor-Smith's day done. Real shame, because qualifying was good. He raced well in race 1 before that clash with the brakeless Rowbottom, and then the day ends in a retirement. Big shame. Turkington to Hill, 7 tenths. Gap's gone up again.
Yeah, it's under control. That for Turkington is actually a comfortable gap. He's so used to leading races from the front with small margins, and assuming he doesn't have another lock-up, and he hasn't had a repeat of that lock-up, so he's managed that situation very well, because he put a fairly big flat spot, I think, on that tyre, but he's managed that situation very well, and this has been a fantastic meeting for Turkington. Really has driven well.
Been a great day for BMW all round, hasn't it, with Jake Hill's 2 wins as well, and a 1-2-3 coming up here to emulate what they did at Croft back in 2015 as a team, WSR. And Dan Lloyd will go a lap down pretty soon, I think, in that wet shod Team Hard Cupra. Interesting that he stayed out and persevered rather than come in, but I suppose he would have gone a lap down that way anyway. There are the leaders then, over the timing line. Turkington to Hill, it's back to over a second now. That looks like it's job done for Colin Turkington.
It certainly does, and don't forget, BMW fans, we got Croft coming up, which is the real BMW favourite circuit.
So all that about Ash Sutton running away with the championship, give him the trophy now, but not hearing that anymore.
No, we're not hearing it, but that doesn't take away anything from his speed.
No.
You know, it's just touring cars is such the fine line between hero and zero is very easily crossed.
And he himself has always said it only takes one bad race to turn things upside down. Big dive there, look on the inside. Sam Osborne on the softer tyre comes up against Stephen Jelly and they rub. Sam is a much tougher driver than he was when he first came into the championship. 3 wide at Oulton Park, you don't see that very often. Shilton on the inside, Jelly in the middle, Osborne on the outside line. And Sam Osborne gets his foot to the boards, accelerates on the soft tyre out of the Island Bend hairpin. He's on the hybrid, as is Stephen Jelly. Sam needs to try to get in front and clear the BMW before his locks. Jelly on the inside line, fights back and takes the place once more. And there's contact that takes the front off Osborne's car, does damage. It kind of peels across, peels back again. Bobby Thompson gets into the side of it, and it's all kicking off.
Oh, it really is, isn't it? Suspension on the rear of the car. It was weaving about.
That's Thompson done for. 2 laps to go, and Bobby Thompson is going to struggle to get that round. Druids, his race is done. You can see the way it's crabbing.
Yeah, he's felt that now. He kept his foot in for a long time.
Yeah.
He actually coming up the hill, but he realised that that was not the way to approach Druids with a broken rear suspension toe link.
So we're on the last lap. Colin Turkington is going to take the race win. Seemingly, he's now 1.6 seconds ahead of Jake Hill. And then in 3rd place, Adam Morgan. So Croft 2015 and then Oulton Park 2023. WSR wins all 3 races in a day. And Colin Turkington from last on the grid in race 1 to first over the line in race 3.
And this will be his 65th British Touring Car Championship win and his 11th here at Oulton Park. Quite a record he has, but 65 wins in BTCC, and this guy shows no sign of slowing down, does he?
No, you can expect him to add to that win rate before the end of the year, and he has certainly proved today that he is a racer. He's an overtaker. He is prepared to fight, to get stuck in. Some people often question that, but he has proved the doubters wrong today. Druids Lodge, Deer Leap to go in this final race of the day. Round 15 of the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship. The threatened rain has just held off long enough for us to get a dry race in, to the surprise of many, the relief of many as well, I suspect. The checkered flag is at the ready. Win number 65 in the British Touring Car Championship goes the way of Colin Turkington. Colin Turkington wins at Oulton Park. Jake Hill second. Adam Morgan third. It's BMW, BMW, BMW. Tom Ingram is fourth. Dan Camish fifth. Aidan Moffat takes sixth ahead of Josh Cook. Dan Rowbottom eighth over the line. Ricky Collard ninth. And then teammates Rory Butcher and George Gamble should be next in 10th and 11th places. But what a day for BMW.
Yeah, they've really enjoyed the tyre situation, the warm conditions, the soft tyre suiting that car, and a good track for them as well, combined to make it a BMW steamroller, all but qualifying with Ash Sutton taking that glory, but it's the races where the points are given.
Championship standings are going to be intriguing come the end of this, aren't they? Colin Turkington is the winner of round 15 in the championship, and a fantastic job done by the multiple champion Colin Turkington. Could still be a threat for this year's title as well. He knows exactly how to rack up points, how to bank points, how to win titles, and a race win there, career win 65, 1.7 seconds clear of Jake Hill, who in the end did settle for second place, but he's had a great day as well. And Adam Morgan, his 40th podium finish, coming home in third place. Tom Ingram takes points, Ash Sutton does not. That will be enough to put a smile on Ting's face. Fifth, Dan Camish, and Aidan Moffat sixth. I suspect will be a bit disappointed with only sixth, given the expectation on the tyre. Yeah,
but, you know, he was racing against the very best drivers, and, you know, maybe we saw a bigger performance differential in the earlier races because we didn't have the fastest cars on that soft tyre to really know, or the hard tyre to know what the difference was going to be. But great result for them. Dick Bennett celebrates.
You know, earlier on in the day, I mentioned that Jade Edwards either has no luck or bad luck. Well, she was 16th, the first driver outside the points. Poor old Jade. Oh, so near. Didn't quite happen. But another really gutsy drive. So, of those on the softs, Sam Osborne was 14th and Jade Edwards 16th. Dan Rowbottom was 8th and Aidan Moffat was the best in 6th place.
So Sam Osborne did get into the point, so good for him.
Yeah, yes, despite the rough ride he got towards the end with Bobby Thompson.
Yeah, and good points for him in the Jack Sears Trophy as well, where he's up against Dexter Patterson primarily, but had lost points in races 1 and 2, had Sam Osborne.
So Colin Turkington illustrates why he is one of the real masters in touring car racing. There is Jade Edwards. As we say, a good drive. It's a shame that points aren't reflected in that, but fair play, Jade. Right, so it is Colin Turkington, the race winner, Jake Hill second, and Adam Morgan third. They will head to the podium at the end of this 15th race of the season, the halfway point. Colin Turkington wins at Oulton Park from Jake Hill and Adam Morgan. Tom Ingram fourth ahead of Dan Camish and Aidan Moffat, with Josh Cook seventh from Dan Rowbottom, then Ricky Collard and Rory Butcher in 10th. 11th to George Gamble from Tom Chilton and Stephen Jelly, then Sam Osborne with Andrew Watson, the last man in the points. Jade Edwards 16th from Ronan Pearson, then Jack Butel from Nick Halstead and Dexter Patterson 20th. 21st, Will Powell from Mikey Doble. Bobby Thompson was a retirement. Dan Lloyd struggled with the wrong tyre choice. Nick Hamilton pitted for slicks in the end, and Aaron Taylor-Smith and Ash Sutton were retirements. So Ash Sutton is only 6 points ahead of Tom Ingram going into the summer break. Then Jake Hill from Colin Turkington and Dan Camish. 6th is Josh Cook from Adam Morgan. And then Dan Rowbottom with Rory Butcher and Ricky Collard completing the top 10.